everyone, welcome to Technology YouTube channel. In this session, we will be learning the top 35 MuleSoft interview questions. Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate candidate, or an experienced professional, these top 35 questions are most frequently asked and also you can expect in your future interviews. So, to be on the safer side, please go through each and every question that we are discussing today. And also, to make things more interesting, we're also going to discuss the top 10 tips and tricks which will help you in your interview if you have them under your sleeve. So, having said that, if these are the type of videos you would like to watch, then hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to never miss an update from Technology YouTube channel. Now, without further ado, let's get started with the first question on our agenda. So, the first question is, what exactly is a mule in MuleSoft? So, the answer for this question is, Mule is a lightweight Java-based ESB and integration framework. It is runtime engine of any point platform that allows developers to connect applications effortlessly. So what exactly is an ESB, you ask? What is an ESB, you ask? ESB stands for Enterprise Service Bus. So ESB is basically an architectural pattern whereby centralized software component platforms integrate between application and share the data between each other. So Mule is basically an Java-based ESB. Now, having the first question discussed, let's move ahead with the second question. What are the different tools and services offered by MuleSoft? So the different services and tools offered by MuleSoft are various. But the top 5 tools and services offered by MuleSoft, which are being expected by your interviewer, are API Designer, API Manager, Anypoint Studio, API Portal, and API Analytics. So these are the top 5 tools and services that you must be knowing, and these are the top 5 tools and services which your interviewer will definitely expect from you to know. Now, the third question. What are the different types of messages in MuleSoft? Since we discussed, MuleSoft is basically an ESB tool and it exchanges data between different platforms. It does also exchange messages, right? So being a developer or a professional in MuleSoft, you should also know about the messages which are being exchanged in MuleSoft. So what are the different types of messages that MuleSoft exchanges between different platforms? So the answer for this question is 3 different types of messages. Firstly, echo and log message. Second, bridge message. And third, the build message. Now, echo and log is self-explanatory. So it tracks each and every moment and each and every transaction what you make in MuleSoft. The bridge is basically about the connection established between the two different platforms, and the build is the build message, which shows you about the updates happening in your current software build. Now, having discussed about these, let's proceed with the next question, which is about is a shared resource in MuleSoft. So you know that MuleSoft ESB basically connects between data sources and other platforms, right? So when it is connected to a data resource, then what exactly do you mean by a shared resource? So the answer for this question is shared resources refer to common resource that multiple development teams use. These resources can be utilized by any applications deployed within the same domain. To make sure resources are available to everyone, you need to define them in a Mule domain project and then reference them in any project where you intend to use their elements. This helps in avoiding a duplication of This helps in avoiding duplication of configuration elements and simplifies development and maintenance. So let's say you have an organization where you have multiple team members or employees working on a single project. So one single data resource is being shared across all the people in one single domain or one single organization with one single configuration to avoid duplication of configuration elements. So their shared resource comes into the picture. So you can define one single resource and share it across all the domain elements or all the domain members or employees in a particular organization. So having discussed about this, let's proceed with the fifth question of today's session. What are the models in MuleSoft Studio? So the answer for this question is, in MuleSoft Studio, models are a way to group services together. They allow you to start and stop multiple services at once within a single entity. This can be useful for organizing related services and managing them as a single unit. So, in a MuleSoft Studio, every model is a group of services. Let's say you have some DDL commands, DML commands, or any type of tools or services which you want to offer to your customer or client or to a data resource. Then you can schedule a model which has the types of services and you can segregate them into a model. So that is the meaning of model in MuleSoft Studio. Now proceeding with the sixth question, what is runtime manager in Mule? So what exactly is a runtime manager? So Runtime Manager is deployed to manage Mule applications. You can deploy, pause, and change app versions and worker sizes using the Runtime Manager. Now the seventh question. What is worker in MuleSoft? So a worker or a MuleSoft worker is known to be a dedicated instance of a Mule hosted on AWS used to run integrated applications. So basically, Mule is a ESB, right? Using MuleSoft, if you get connected to AWS data source, then MuleSoft creates an entity or an instance, right? So that particular instance where data is being exchanged in between MuleSoft and AWS is called as MuleSoft Worker. So that particular MuleSoft Worker has the following features. The features are capacity, isolation, manageability, and locality. All these features are data related, right? So with this, let's proceed with the next question. How is reliability achieved in MuleSoft? So let's say you have a service being offered to your client through MuleSoft. So how can you justify yourself to your client about the reliability? This question is based on that particular aspect. So the answer for this question is, in order to achieve reliability, you need to design applications that can capture the state of the instance. For transactional support like Java Message Service or JMS, VM, virtual machine, etc., the built-in support gives reliable messaging. So, what exactly is happening here? So, in case if you're connected to some sort of data resource and your application via MuleSoft, then you need to make sure that the messaging between the two entities, that is, every update, whatever is happening between the two entities, should be highly informational and with complete transparency. In case if you're working with Java Message Service JMS, then JMS is available on MuleSoft as default. If you connected using virtual machine, then you have virtual machine notifications thing by default. Those are the inbuilt reliable messaging services. Similarly, you need to create or you need to add an extension which provides such kind of reliable messaging service when you are connected with other data sources. Now, proceeding into the next question. Can you optimize MuleSoft code? If yes, how can you do it? Right. And we know if you are trying to get connected to some sort of data resource or if you are connected to some sort of application, then definitely you might have to code things out, right? In case if you have coded something for your MuleSoft, then and you find out that it can be optimized, then can you do it? So, if yes, how do you do it? That's the question. So, the answer is yes. Firstly, you can do it, and the procedures or some types of prerequisites that you need to ensure that it can be done are you need to avoid payload in the flow variable, right? When you're trying to optimize code or update something, then you need to make sure that the flow variable is not having any type of payload. Proceeding ahead, the next thing is avoid leading the documents with unnecessary details. So when you're documenting your code, try to minimize unnecessary details. That is second best thing you can do. And the next one is better database polling in concurrent scenarios. So ensure that your database is perfect. And lastly, prefer data warehouse for transformation. So in case if you're applying any kind of transformations or actions onto your data, then ensure that it is happening in the data warehouse. Now, the next question. What do you mean by flow in a Mule? So the answer for this question is a flow is a sequence of message processors in flow we can combine multiple processes to handle a message receipt, processing, and routing. Now, the 11th question. What is a Mule transformer? So the answer to this question is a Mule transformer prepares the message by altering its contents. You can build a pre-built transformer for data conversion. For example, you can use an XML to object transformer to convert XML message to Java object. Now, the 12th question. What is the use of filter in MuleSoft? So, we know that if you want a specific data item to be imported onto MuleSoft, or you have a specific condition, then how can you do it? So yes, the answer is yes, you can do it. So you can do it via filters. Let's say you have the data from the last 5 years, the sales data, and your manager asks you, give me the sales report for the last year, right? And if you are using the complete 5 years data, you're simply wasting your resources. Let's say there is a way where you can only extract the data from the last 1 year. So you can do that by using the filter option. So filter helps in making smart decisions for message delivery. Filters give sight to the router by analyzing the message. A filter expressions can be true or false. If true, the values get stored in the output array. Otherwise, the program discards it. So similarly, you can also use filters for filtering out the required messages. So with that, let's proceed to the next question. What are the types of variables in MuleSoft? Let's say you are trying to utilize the data, right? You're trying to import the data. So when you import the data, you also specify a specific name to your data, right? So that can be done using variables. So we know the fundamentals of variables. Now, what are the types of variables that MuleSoft has to offer you? Now, the answer for this question is there are three different types of variables, namely flow variable, record variable, and session variable. With that, let's proceed with the 14th question. What is MuleSoft ESB? So we know what is a Mule. So what exactly is MuleSoft ESB here? So Mule ESB is an architecture developed by programmers. They can integrate a range of applications together using the bus-like infrastructure. Mule ESB can be integrated with HTTP, web service, Java messaging service or JMS, etc. Now, the 15th question. What is fan-in and MuleSoft? The answer to this question is fan-in helps in taking a decision to continue flow execution. It can be used as a combination with fan-out. Let's say we know what exactly is flow. It is a flow of instructions or data or operations, right, which are happening currently, or a set of processes which are sequentially happening. Let's say there is some exemption or any kind of warning. Now, MuleSoft gets to decide whether the flow of processors or the set of processes need to be continued, or the set of instructions need to be continued or not. If it decides to continue, then it is called as fan in. If it decides to stop or halt, it is called as fan out. Now, the next question. What are the basic principles of ESP integration? Let's say you have an option where you have to integrate your data source with MuleSoft. Now, what are the basic principles you need to make sure that your data is integrated with MuleSoft? The answer for this question is transportation, transformation, non-functionality consistency, and meditation. So these are the basic four principles that you need to mention when asked about ESP integration. Now the 17th question. What is a Mule expression language? The answer is MEL, or Mule expression language is a lightweight Mule specific language that can be used to access and evaluate data in the payload. Now, the 18th question. What is payload in MuleSoft? So far, we have discussed more than twice or thrice about payload, right? Now, what do you mean by payload? The simple answer for payload is the payload is a Mule runtime variable that stores objects or arrays. It helps developers to access payload under different forms. Now, payload is something which stores the information about all the variables that are storing the actual data or the objects or arrays, right? So that is you can consider payload to be metadata of data or data about data. What kind of data is being stored exactly in the storage and what kind of data type is it, right? It's a basic schema which tells you the complete details about the data being stored and processed in MuleSoft. Now the 19th question. What is correlation concept in MuleSoft? The answer is correlation concept in MuleSoft is a primitive that is used to pass values from request flow to response flow. Now the 20th question. Mention a few frequently used ESPs in the current industry. Okay, you're a professional now, right? You say that you're a professional, you have some experience, and you are or you were being used for you were being working in MuleSoft. So what kind of ESP tools so far you have used? That is about the question. Now the answer for this question is the most frequently used IT industry ESPs are Mule ESB, JBoss Fuse ESB, and Talent. So there are a lot of ESBs currently used in the IT industry, but most frequently used or the most popular ESBs are Mule ESB, JBoss Fuse ESB, and Talent. So these are the top three ones which your interviewer will definitely expect from you. Now, the next question, 21st one. What is model layer in Mule? So, a model layer is the first logical layer. It represents the runtime environment that hosts services. This layer describes the behavior of Mule when processing requests that are handled by services. It offers services with default values to simplify configuration. Now, the 22nd one. What is TSD in Mule? So the answer for this question is TSD, or Transport Service Descriptor, is a connector used for technical configuration. It describes classes, names that are used for message services, dispatches, and requests. The default value can vary to grasp the behavior of transport. Now the 23rd question. What are the available resources for modularizing configuration in a Mule? The answer is the four different resources. The first one, independent configuration. Independent configuration is used to load number of independent configuration files one after the other in a Mule instance. And next one is inherited configuration. One configuration inherits a configuration from another different configuration. The imported configuration is the third one. This also supports Spring configuration. This enables us to easily use the Spring config file to Mule configuration files. Lastly, heterogeneous configuration. In this configuration, we can utilize many types of files as they term heterogeneous signifies. Now, the next question. What are the parameters to configure a scheduler? The answer is, the parameters to configure a scheduler are frequency, start delay, and time unit. Frequency is how frequently do you want to do something. Start delay is how later do you want to start a task after setting the scheduler. Time unit is something which specifies the unit of time, whether it is in hours, minutes, or seconds. Now the 25th question. What is transient context? Transient context is used when passing qualities between mediation primitives inside the current flow. It could be the request flow or response flow. Now the 26th. What are the features of MUnit? Now the features of MUnit are design and test Mule applications and APIs, integrate testing into CI/CD process, auto-generated tests, make testing more efficient through CI process. 27th question. What is a scatter-gather route? The scatter-gather router processes a Mule event through different parallel processing routes. You can use it to multicast a single message to several routes and identify which route causes the problems. Let's say there is a process which is currently going on. Let's say there is a Mule which is currently connected to some sort of data source and it is exchanging data, and suddenly something happens. Now you can run scatter gather route to identify which perfect source or which is the problem, which is meant to say which is a perfect location where a problem has been encountered. You can identify that using scatter gather route. Now the 28th question. What is choice router? In the choice router, the messages get routed according to the data weave expressions that evaluate the context. Each expression has different routing options. Now the 29th question. What are the various categories of Mule processes? So the various categories are connectors, components, filters, routers, scopes, transformers, exception strategies, builds, repeat, business events, and much more. Now the 30th question. What is RAML? RAML stands for RESTful API Modeling Language. It helps you manage the API lifecycle. It's concise and reusable. 31st one. What is the acronym for STO? The answer is SDO stands for Service Data Object. 32nd one. What are the few major problems for MuleSoft to tackle? So this question is especially for experienced and intermediate candidates. If you are a MuleSoft user, then what are the major problems that you face? The four important problems are error handling, monitoring, lifecycle and management, data format, etc. Continuing with the 33rd question, what are the various types of exception handlings in MuleSoft? So the various exceptions are the most important ones. The top five ones are choice exception handling, catch exception handling, rollback exception handling, global exception handling, and lastly, default exception handling. Now the 34th question. What are the features of MuleSoft ESB? The features of MuleSoft ESB are offer SLA monitoring and API management facility. It has easy to use and drag and drop graphical design. Mule ESB provides high scalability. It enables developers to deploy in one-click cloud. Now, last question. What are the various parts of composing message in Mule? So the different parts of composing a message in Mule are properties, payload, and lastly, multiple name attachments. And now with that, we have reached to the important section of today's session, which is about the tips that you need to master or ace your interview in one single go, right? So the important ones are the first one, master the basics. Ensure you have a strong understanding of MuleSoft Anypoint platform, including its architecture, components, and core concepts like flows, connectors, transformers, and error handling. Now the next one, get hands-on experience. Practice working on MuleSoft projects and scenarios to reinforce your knowledge. Create integrations, configure connections, and build Mule applications to get practical experience. The third one, understand integration patterns. Familiarize yourself with different integration patterns such as request response, publish, subscribe, polling, and much more. Fourth one, know MuleSoft connectors. Study and practice using various MuleSoft connectors that facilitate integration with different systems and technologies. This includes connectors for databases, RESTful services, SOAP services, JMS, file systems, and much more. Fifth one, learn Anypoint Studio. Become proficient in using Anypoint Studio, the integrated development environment for MuleSoft, and understand how to create and configure Mule flows, design, manage, repeat, design message transformations, and manage project resources effectively. Now, the sixth one, API design and management. Familiarize yourself with API design principles and best practices. And if possible, try to brush up your Java knowledge. MuleSoft leverages Java for configurations, customizations, and advanced configurations. Having a good knowledge on Java will be anyways beneficial. Now, the next one. Understand error handling and logging. Be knowledgeable about error handling strategies in MuleSoft, such as exception handling, global error handling, and handling retries. Ninth one, prepare for MuleSoft specific interview questions. Research and practice common interview questions specific to MuleSoft, such as discussing MuleSoft project experiences, integration using use cases, and troubleshooting scenarios. And lastly, stay updated on MuleSoft. Keep up with the latest MuleSoft features, updates, and industry trends. Remember, while these tips can help you prepare, it's crucial to adapt your answers to your own experiences and understanding of MuleSoft. Demonstrating your practical skills and problem-solving abilities will greatly increase your chances of cracking the interview. Good luck. With that, we have reached to the end of this session on MuleSoft interview questions by Technology. Should you feel that we have missed out on any of the more important questions, or if you feel that you can contribute to our viewers and the channel by your valuable information, then please feel free to let us know in the comment section below. And also, if you have any queries and concerns or any questions, please do leave us in the comment section below. And our team of experts will be more than happy to walk you through your queries and concerns and also address your queries, repeat, and also address your inputs. And with that, thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more from Technology.